Alright, so I'll start off with the story that I'm more comfortable with. When I was 16 going on 17, I wanted to get into making beats, making music, rapping, things of that nature. So I ended up going to a little school, and the school is called Recording Institute Detroit. Went there for mix, mastering, audio production, and while I was there, I met a few cool cats. This guy named Brandon. I can't remember his last name. Well, we'll just go with Brandon for now. There's millions of Brandons out there, and I ain't defacing nobody. But we started making some cool beats, and we entered a competition. And in this competition, you had to make the best beat, and you can get signed or make a single with Eminem. So we make beats. You gotta have a program. We used like Fruity Loops or a loop program of some sort. I can't even remember the name of the program. It was a little bit long ago. A little foggy in that area, so I haven't messed with it since. But we entered the program, and I found out that person that I was going to the Recording Institute with, Mike Posner. And I didn't know much about him. He's now famous a little bit now, but he was in a different class than me, but he would make beats, and we both had at the end of the beat session to send him in. It was between me and his beat to Eminem, and we choose to send the beats in, and apparently Mike Posner's got selected instead of mine, and he went on to have a career. I'm not exactly sure how it goes right now, but he's pretty famous now. He's got some well-known songs on the radio and whatnot. But point of the story, so it's how I acquired 2 ounces of cocaine and sold it for $500, $250 a piece, not knowing, being naive about the game of powder, which I still don't really know much about today. But so meet this chick. Name was Amber, and she also was into making beats, and she had a little side hustle, and she smoked weed, and I'm not sure exactly what else she did. So I meet with her, I talk with her, and we make beats, and I find out she lives in a city not too far from me in East Point, 9 and Kelly area. And so one day she tells me to come through, smoke some weed, chill, make some beats. So, I do. I go over to Amber's house, and we pull up over there, and she says, "Hey, anybody looking to buy some powder?" And I said, "I don't really know much about it, but I'm sure I can find some cats to do that." And she hands me 2 ounces of cocaine, at least which I believe is to be cocaine. I'm not 200% sure. So anyway, so I take this and just throw it in the back seat of my Buick. I had a 95 Buick Century that I was driving around in. And I start calling people. I'm like, "Yo, I got some coke. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to buy any shit?" And I don't know, about 2-3 hours goes by. I don't get any answer. And I'm like, man, I'm supposed to sell this stuff for this chick at my school. Make some extra money here. And so I finally find these people, these younger, thuggish kids over on 7 Mile in Hollywood, 7 Mile in John R. It's kind of a rough area in Detroit. I lived right outside of Detroit growing up, and so it's nothing to go right down there. And I get in my Buick, and I text these people. I tell them I'll meet them up over here, and we're going to go. And they come out, and there's a younger guy and an older guy, and it's not the people that I've talked to. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh well, who cares, I'm not that worried about it. So I get in the car, and dude's looking at the product. I show him, and all of a sudden he just starts opening up my bag. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Excuse my language, what are you doing? And the dude's like, what do you mean? I gotta get a taster. I gotta see, what this is about. This is that good, this that good, this that stuff. Like, is this some bull? And I'm like, listen, man, don't be putting your hands in my bag like that. And he pops his gun and puts it to the back of my face. It's a 45 long barrel. And he's like, listen, I'm about to do this. And I was like, yo, man, you better get that gun out of my face now. And dude was like, who are you talking to like that? Like, you're just some white boy. And I was like, listen, man, if you don't move that gun from my face, it's going to be really bad for you. Put down my fucking product. And my man's just looks at me, and I just grab the gun from him from the back, like this, and I just snatch it from him. And I'm like, listen, you're not about to be touching my, get the fuck out of my car. And dude looked at me like, damn, you a crazy ass white boy. I was like, yeah, you want to buy it or not? And the dude was just like, yeah, man. So he gives me the $250 cash, and I still got another one. And the other guy that was sitting there didn't really say much. He didn't say anything. Just sat there. He didn't, even with the gun going on. It was a little awkward situation there. But after that, after he bought the shit, I threw the gun back at the dude. Threw it back at him. I was like, take this piece of crap. And went on my way. Got the $250. Still have the other bag. And so I started pounding the pavement, calling some more people. And this white guy over at 6 Mile in McNichols, which is, well, McNichols is 6 Mile, but McNichols and Ryan Road, where one of my best friend lives, off of Shields, off 6 Mile, between, Mound and Ryan area, off by where I live, which is, a few minute drive. So I take it down there, and dude looks at it, he's like, how much for the bag? I tell him, like, $250. And he looks at me, and he's like, you gotta be out of your mind for this. I was like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to get rid of it. And he's like, I got $225. And I was like, no, man, I need $250. That's the lowest I'm going for this. So dude's like, yo, come back in 15 minutes and I'll have the $250. So I drive around the block and don't think much of it. And I pull up, and dude gets in the back of my car, and he's like, yo, I got that $250. And so I look at the money, I get it, and he takes it and goes on his way. As I'm driving off, I look in the back, and there's like 5 dudes about ready to run up on my shit and take my car, take everything I got. And I got this $250, so I just floor it. I floor it, and I take the same street all the way up to 8 Mile, and I just get the hell out of there. So I pull up in, in the spot back to my boy's house, because I didn't really want to be seen, so I go to my boy's house out in Marine City. And I look at my money, and I got a fake $100 bill, 2 real 20s, and some, I don't even know, Japanese money. It's got like a Japanese printing on it. I'm like, what is this? I got ripped off for $250 for a $1,000 bag of cocaine. I sold for $250 and got fake money. And another bag, I got real $250. The guy with the gun gave me the real money. The dude didn't even have a weapon, gave me the fake money. And I'm like, man, I gotta give this money to the girl. This is ridiculous. Like, I don't even know. So I don't even go to school the next day for the recording class, and she hits me up, and she's like, yo, what's going on? You got the money? You got the product? You got something for me? You didn't even show up here. You dipping on me? What's going on? So I show up the next day, and I'm like, yo, I got robbed for one of the bags. I give her $200 and keep the 50 for myself. I'm like, man, like, I don't even know what to do. And she's pissed off and all kinds of stuff. And I just ended up finishing out the course. And girl's been sweating me the whole time for like another 3-4 months. And I get out of the class, and I just dipped, never talked to her again. And last time I remember, she moved to like Texas or something, so I just didn't even think about it, I don't recommend people do that, or, obviously the street value is worth more than what I was choosing to do, but at that time for me, that was probably 2008 somewhere. around that time, I had just got out of high school, so 250 for me, and not knowing it, I thought it was a good deal, and it really wasn't. When I got robbed for the 250 and got the fake money back, I literally had, $90 to my name out of 500, and 200 of it I gave to the girls, so I kept the $90 that was real out of the money that I had out of the fake money, and it was just too much. I got out of it, and fortunately never had to do it again. It was the only time that I ever had messed with cocaine, and probably the only time I will. If I would have known, that it was going to lead to some federal charges or anything like that, I honestly probably wouldn't have done it. But that's just one of my stories. I got a couple other stories. Back in around same amount of time, yeah, because shortly after I finished that program, I ended up